In 2024, one of the biggest questions that sellers have to their real estate agents right now is an open house necessary and does it even work? My friend sold their house 2 years ago and it sold in a day. So why do I need to get my house ready for an open house? That's the question, right? What we know is that a lot of buyers, if not most at this point, start their home search online, whether it's Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. They started somewhere online before they even start looking at homes. And quite frankly, you as a home seller probably started your concept and research of selling your home online and just to attempt to try to find out how much the house might be worth. Now, in 2024, we know that open houses are making a comeback. And the question is why? Well, buyers are craving that in person experience and a luxury experience. It's much like buying a car. If you went out and you bought a luxury car, whether it's a Mercedes or a McLaren, you'd probably want to test drive it or at least see it in person, right? Well, when we think about a home, this is probably going to be the most expensive thing that somebody purchases, particularly if it's a first-time home buyer. It'll definitely be the most expensive thing that they ever purchase. And so why aren't we giving them that luxury experience when that is what they're craving? There's a lot of digital tools out there. Interactive floor plans, high-resolution photography, video walkthroughs, drone shots so that you can see what the house looks like from above, the community, and the layout of the land. But in 2024, we know that open houses are making a comeback. Where are we getting this from? So according to the latest data, Zillow Consumer Housing Trends Report has put out statistics that show that 65% of sellers in 2024 hosted 1 to 3 open houses, which is up 49% since 2018 and up 44% since 2021. In fact, the median seller now hosts at least 2 open houses, which is up from prior years by at least 1. What this trend signals is that buyers are craving that in-person experience that we just talked about. So why the shift? Now, in 2021 and in 2022, homes were selling like hotcakes. Houses were selling almost the day they hit the market. If it lasted for 3 days, that was a miracle, but there was probably 30 to 40 offers on the house. In 2020, at the time that COVID hit, we couldn't even do open houses for a long time. Once we got out of that whole lockdown situation and people were able to start going in-person tours again, a lot of sellers were trepidatious about letting all those people in the house. And most buyers, even if the open house was an option, were afraid to go out in crowds because, if we can remember back then, 6 feet, right? What open houses do is allow buyers to enter homes without pressure. Now, if you're not up to date on the changes that have taken place in August on a national level, in order for a buyer to go on a private tour of a home, they now have to have a signed agreement with the buyer's agent. A lot of buyers aren't ready to do that, or they're caught off guard by a little bit. What the open house does is it allows, us to give those buyers and the consumer in general that in-person experience that they're craving, where they could come in and test drive the home and see if the pictures live up to reality, and it lowers the pressure. So buyer demand is on the rise right now. And that is one thing that is fueling the resurgence. And that's going to combine with something that we're going to talk about in a minute, because home sellers are also selling more houses right now. But in terms of buyers, the September 2024 has marked the first time in 9 months that pending home sales didn't decline. This is signaling a turning point for the market. Mortgage rates have also dropped. In August, we hit a 52-week low, and then following up with that, the Fed, a couple weeks ago, did their first interest rate cut since 2020. Now, with all that, regardless of any fluctuations that you might see, the big banks out there like Wells Fargo and Bank of America have had to redo their predictions for the remainder of the year and the following 6 months into 2025, and they're still suggesting that rates are going to drop even lower from where they're at. The final numbers that they all come up with are a little bit differential. However, we do know that from the big guys, the rates should go down if everything goes accordingly. Uh, the other thing that we know is that more home tours are happening. So Redfin has something called a buyer demand index, which tracks home tours and related activities. That rose by 9% month over month just in September alone and is up significantly from where it was at last year. This is also the highest level since April of 2024. And what drove that was the fact that interest rates at this time last year were in the eights. April is when we started to see the first drop and a little bit of relief. So a lot of those pent up buyers were finally out, in full demand again. So with this increase in demand, this is going to make home open houses more valuable to you as a seller because you're creating that in-person touch that buyers are craving right now. Now, like I said, more home sellers are coming to the market, and a lot of what's driving that is the lower interest rates. People have felt locked in for two reasons. One, the rate has been high, and two, the inventory has been low. Well, we've solved both of those problems. Newly listed homes have increased by 11.6% in September of 2024 compared to the previous year. This marks the highest level of seller activity since 2021. And if you can remember from the beginning of this, that's when houses were selling in a day in most cases. This rise in listings is driven by the falling mortgage rates. And that's also encouraged homeowners to sell their home. So with more homes on the market, buyers now obviously have a wider range of options. So with that, the competition has now grown for sellers. How are you going to make your house stand out? That's the real question. So if buyers are taking, a little bit more time to find the home that they want, and there's now more options, giving sellers more competition, the question is, how do you make the best first impression? So one of the key reasons that open houses are effective at making a great first impression is that you're able to deliver on the product that you put out online. All of the high resolution pictures and all the video walkthroughs in the world sometimes paint a false narrative of what the home actually looks like. When you put that out there and then the buyer gets a great experience when they walk in, it sells the house. What we know sells homes are two things. Number one is obviously always going to be the price, because in today's market, buyers for the most part buy the most house that they can afford. Number two, which is honestly just as important a lot of times as number one, is creating the emotional connection with the buyer. If we can't create that great first emotional connection, then you're not going to get your house sold to that buyer. That's done in two ways. One is making sure that the house is presented properly. And number two is creating a little bit of a demand. Nobody wants to buy the thing that not everybody else wants. It's the fear of missing out concept, right? If you run an open house, you run it effectively, and you get a large crowd for your open house where there's a line out the door waiting to get in and people all over the house, that's going to put demand on the buyer to make a decision, and it's going to make them feel better about the decision because there's more people interested in it. You're not going to want a house that nobody else wants. It's just how it is. So much like walking into a crowded restaurant and not being able to get in, same concept, it's just being applied to selling your house. So what you need to do is combine all these tools. You let them browse online, let them create the experience in-house with your open house, and all of that's going to do is create a deeper connection and create a faster sale. The other thing that it's going to do is that if you get more than one offer, it's going to give your agent the ability to drive the price up, thus netting you more money on the sale of your home. What we know is that a lot of listing agents out there, they're not great. They, work on a hope and a prayer. They put a sign in the yard, they put it up on the multiple listing service and get it out on the internet, and then they just wait for buyers to come in and they think Zillow's going to do their job for them. Make sure that you're working with an agent that has an aggressive marketing plan. Those things that we talked about are necessary, but are they getting it in the right spots online? Do they even know where it is? Are they getting effective feedback? Are they actively marketing to other agents in the community that they know have great buyers? And do they know how to do grassroots marketing where they actually go out and find the buyer for your house? One of the ways we're able to do that is through running a successful open house. Facts are that most people are going to move within a 10-mile radius. Why is that? Well, one, they may be renting and they work in the area, and they need to, stay close by. Or same scenario, they have kids in school. They've been renting in this school district for a while. They don't want to move their kids out. They're going to move in there. Number two is that people want to live by people that they love and know. So whether that is family members, people that they work with, or people that they've met through school or, the kids, they want to do that. They want to create a community and know the community that they're living in. Typically, that's in a 10-mile radius. What an open house allows us to do is effectively market to all those people that live in that area through multiple avenues of marketing, whether it's online or offline, and get the most buyers into your house, whether they were originally looking for a house or not. So, if you're curious as to how we can effectively market your home for you and use an open house to your advantage, or if you're interviewing agents and the agent that you're talking to doesn't have a plan to not only market your home, run an open house effectively, but aggressively do grassroots marketing for your home to get the most options, give me a call. Share this video with people you know need help, and I greatly appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.